Hello everybody. How you doing today? Today I'm smoking some HH Dark Fired Ready Rub from this big bag that somebody sent me. Right here. It says McBaron HH Old Dark Fired Ready Rubbed. 16 ounces. Oh, whatever it is, it tastes great. Got a little chocolatey flavor to it. It's most enjoyable. Very nice. I'm smoking it in my Poul Winslow tomato shape pipe. A shape you don't find too often. For a long time I didn't know what they called this shape. As a matter of fact, many years ago, maybe 35 years ago or more. More than that, I would say, believe it or not, I'd say about 45 years ago. I had a meerschaum that shaped, and don't know whatever happened to it. It was a nice pipe. I loved it. I started smoking pipes in my late teens, early 20s. I went over the story about my first pipe. That was, I was literally hit with it. I was working in a work clothes department. It was a one-man department. I did the whole thing and didn't have any. I was there from dawn to dusk, literally at Sears, when it was Sears and Roebuck. Excuse me. In a town called St. David's. And this girl across the way, she worked in the smoke shop. Yes, Sears had a smoke shop. And she tossed a pipe my way one day. And I think hit me in the shoulder or something. So, of course, I bought the pipe, got to know her, and months, maybe a year later, we were engaged. Formally, in the paper and everything, but it never went through. She had a slight drinking problem, and bless her soul, she's passed away now. She had, then she ran off and got married to some sailor, and they found her deceased in her home in Florida. And I never did find out why, what actually happened. Family was distraught and so forth, so I never probed into what. I found this out, by the way, years later, about 30 years later. But anyhow, I don't know why I got the. But the pipe that she threw at me and I bought was a K. Woody drinkless. And of all the K-Woodies that I've searched online, now I didn't even know the shapes back then of pipes. Yeah, I could care less. I had bought them and smoked them. But it turned out to be a billiard. But it was a straight, I mean, it had great lines to it. And I've never quite seen one like it. It was dark. Not any graining that we would consider a high grain pipe today. It was almost a brown, almost black pipe, but it was so simple and elegant. I've wanted one like it, but even in my collection, I don't have any individual pipe that comes near that in that shape. As far as the stem, everything, the look is a better way to put it of that pipe. I just can't find one. And I guess if it was a new model, as it were, it would rather probably be a 69 or a 70. That is the year, you know. It was a nice Sears store, by the way. Bill of Philly pipe smoker fame, you might remember that store, or one or two others in the area. It became some kind of corporate headquarters that evolved into something else. I forget what it is now, believe it or not. And across the way, there was an Altman's, a great New York store called Altman's. I had a little pink credit card, and a very fancy place. Now it's a TJ Maxx. Times have really changed, haven't they, folks? TJ Maxx, yeah. But anyhow, not to overly dwell on that, but the Sears people, we had our own little cafeteria. Just a little, maybe half dozen, 8 tables that we could have our lunch in. And it was also the customers could also, sit down, have something. But across the street at Altman's, they had the Charleston Gardens, which was a good luncheon place. So we'd go upscale occasionally and go there. But times certainly changed, don't they? The quote of the day is from my mother. At meal times, you have 2 choices. Take it or leave it. End quote. A lot of times you hear about people with a rough upbringing. Oh, We're subjected to this or that, or we walked 5 miles to school and had to wear hand-me-down clothes and shoes. Didn't have any running water, had to use an outhouse. I cannot say that. I had a fantastic upbringing. Enjoyed every minute of it. Nice place with an in-ground pool. It was actually a split level, they called them in those days. And it had about 3/4 of an acre. And on a little terrace away from the house, there was a nice in-ground swimming pool that my stepfather built a bathhouse for. He was a carpenter foreman for Acme Markets, but he was a master carpenter and a wonderful man. Those were the days when wood paneling and cedar walk-in closets were popular. But he did all that, and I miss him to this day. He passed away in the early 90s. And he was quite an influence on me. And my daughter remembers him. My son is too young to remember him that well, but he remembers a little bit of it. His name was George Vett, actually. And but anyway, I digress. But it just brings back cheerful memories. The rec room, we called it, the bottom level, the split level, had a huge bay window. But I only managed to put a baseball through once in my whole, I guess what it was, let me see, 16 years there. Because we moved from a smaller house in Havertown, a place called Havertown, and this was in Berwyn, these split level. And well, anyway, it was set up. It would be a great party room, although there weren't many parties thrown there per se. Remember, my mom and stepfather had a Roaring Twenties party that was very nice. I have pictures to this day, the people in their outfits and stuff. But the music system was really terrific. Back in those days, you had the Fisher set up, the turntable and everything. But there were speakers at the end of the big room, and a wonderful record collection of, you name it, mostly swing records. Not too much in the way of like hard rock like you'd find today, stuff like that. But of course it was attached to what they call a receiver. We got a radio, so if you wanted the music that was playing at the time, you could put on the radio. So, but anyway, I had a wonderful, wonderful childhood, full of great memories.